History is not just battles and kings. Sometimes it is disasters, accidents, and forgotten moments that quietly reshaped the world. Today, we dive into 10 events you've probably never studied in school. But they changed everything. This is Obscura Vault. 1. The Year Without a Summer, 1816. Imagine June in New England. Instead of sunshine, snow falls from the sky. Fires burn inside homes while crops wither outside. People call it 1800 and froze to death. The culprit? Mount Tambora in Indonesia. In April 1815, it unleashed the most violent eruption in recorded history. Ash and sulfur filled the sky, blocking sunlight and cooling the earth by nearly 1 degree Celsius. That tiny drop caused global famine. In Europe, food riots broke out from France to Switzerland. In Ireland, crop failure deepened poverty, pushing more migration to America. In Asia, monsoon rains collapsed, and the Yangtze Valley in China saw famine. Meanwhile, in Lake Geneva, Switzerland, writers trapped indoors included Lord Byron and Mary Shelley. Out of boredom and despair, Shelley began writing Frankenstein, one of the most famous novels ever created. A volcano on the other side of the world shaped literature, migration, and even modern climate science. 2. The Defenestration of Prague, 1618. In Prague, a political insult was not an angry speech, it was a flying lesson. In May 1618, Bohemian nobles stormed Prague Castle. Enraged by Catholic governors enforcing Habsburg rule, they grabbed 2 officials, Jaroslav Božita and Vilém Slavata, and hurled them out a 70-foot window. Miraculously, they survived by landing in a dung heap. Protestants said angels saved them. Catholics said it was divine intervention. Historians said it was just manure. But the fallout wasn't funny. The act ignited the 30 Years' War, from 1618 to 1648. Entire regions of Germany lost 40% of their population. Mercenaries roamed the land, cities burned, famine spread. When it finally ended with the Peace of Westphalia, Europe was remade. The modern idea of sovereignty states ruling themselves was born. A shove-out-a-window reshaped politics forever. 3. The Bronze Age collapse, around 1200 BCE. The Bronze Age was a golden time of trade. Egypt, the Hittite Empire, the Mycenaean Greeks, all linked by ships, metal, and written records. Then, between 1200 and 1150 BCE, everything fell apart. Cities were abandoned, palaces burned, and literacy nearly vanished. Theories abound. Inscriptions speak of the Sea Peoples, raiders who attacked Egypt and toppled cities across the Mediterranean. At the same time, droughts hit Anatolia, earthquakes rattled Greece, and trade networks collapsed. Within decades, mighty kingdoms crumbled, writing systems disappeared. The Greek world entered a dark age. But from that collapse emerged new powers: Assyria, Phoenicia, and the small city-states of Greece, Athens, Sparta, and Corinth that would later give us democracy, philosophy, and theatre. 4. The Antikythera Mechanism, 100 BCE. In 1901, sponge divers near the Greek island of Antikythera found a shipwreck. Inside was a corroded lump of bronze. At first, they thought it was junk. Later, scientists realized it was 2,000 years ahead of its time. The Antikythera Mechanism, built around 100 BCE, was a hand-cranked device of more than 30 gears. It predicted lunar eclipses, tracked planetary positions, and even displayed the Olympic calendar. Some call it the first analog computer. Its complexity rivaled clockwork technology of the 14th century. And then it vanished from history. Proof that ancient Greece was capable of precision engineering we still struggle to understand. 5. The Plague of Justinian, 541 CE. In the year 541 CE, rats disembarked from Egyptian grain ships in Constantinople. On their fleas rode a killer Yersinia pestis, the same bacteria behind the Black Death. The Plague of Justinian killed up to 50 million across the Mediterranean, perhaps half the world's population. The Byzantine capital lost 40% of its people. Fields went untilled, trade faltered, and Emperor Justinian's dreams of restoring the Roman Empire collapsed. Historians argue this plague weakened Byzantium so much that it paved the way for the rise of Islam in the 7th century. A microscopic bacterium rewrote global power. 6. The Zanclean Flood, 5.3 million years ago. Imagine the Mediterranean Sea, not as water but as a desert. That was reality about 5.6 million years ago during the Messinian salinity crisis. Then, 5.3 million years ago, the Atlantic Ocean broke through the Strait of Gibraltar in what scientists call the Zanclean Flood. A waterfall hundreds of times bigger than Niagara crashed into the basin, filling the Mediterranean in less than 2 years. This single geological event shaped coastlines, climates, and even human migration paths millennia later. Earth doesn't just write history with people, it rewrites continents. 7. The Radium Girls, 1917 to 1920s. 17 to 1920s. In the United States during World War I, young women took jobs painting watch dials with glowing paint. They shaped their brushes with their lips, swallowing radioactive radium each day. Soon, their jaws literally crumbled. They suffered bone cancer, anemia, and horrific pain. Companies denied responsibility, even smeared the women with false claims of immorality. In 1927, 5 women, the Radium Girls, sued the United States Radium Corporation. Their courage led to landmark labor rights rulings, workplace safety reforms, and eventually the creation of OSHA. Their suffering forced industry to value human life over profit. 8. Why is English spelling such a nightmare? Blame the great vowel shift. Between 1450 and 1750, the way English people pronounced vowels changed drastically. Words like bite once sounded like beat-a. House was hoose. The causes are debated. Some say migration after the Black Death scrambled dialects. Others point to social class people deliberately changing pronunciation to sound more refined. But spelling stayed the same. Which is why, though, through, and tough look like a family reunion but sound like strangers. A linguistic accident that still torments students worldwide. 9. The Treaty of Tordesillas, 1494. After Columbus's voyage in 1492, Spain and Portugal raced to claim new lands. The Pope stepped in, drawing an imaginary line across the Atlantic. The Treaty of Tordesillas gave Spain most of the Americas. Portugal got Africa, Asia, and Brazil. That's why Brazilians speak Portuguese today, while their neighbors speak Spanish. This one treaty redrew the map of the globe, fueling centuries of empire, colonization, and cultural fusion. A pen stroke in Spain still echoes in languages across continents. 10. The Great Fire of London, 1666. In September 1666, a small flame in a bakery on Pudding Lane turned into an inferno. For 4 days, the fire devoured London. 80,000 homes, St. Paul's Cathedral, and entire districts vanished in smoke. Astonishingly, official records list only 6 deaths, though historians suspect many more. The fire cleared slums, reshaped the city, and inspired new building codes, wider streets, brick houses, fire brigades. It also helped end the plague by killing disease-carrying rats. From ashes rose a safer, modern London. From volcanoes that froze summers, to windows that started wars, to treaties that shaped continents, history is filled with forgotten moments that built the world around us. These events prove history isn't just kings and dates, it's eruptions, plagues, plucky workers, and even vowels that refuse to behave. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows of the past, subscribe to Obscura Vault for more strange stories history tried to forget. Until next time, stay curious and remember, even manure can change the course of history.